We did have that tornado warning issued right as that circulation moved, and we had just showed you the Tulsa International view on our Skyview network camera, and you could see the rain just whipping in horizontally with that strong wind. That was likely the edge of that rotation that had the tornado in the center of it. Now, high resolution Doppler radar. Again, we're looking just to the southwest of Warren Theater, right here on the Creek Turnpike outer loop. So it looks like it may have formed just a tiny bit, a little bit further to the west here across south side of Broken Arrow. Now we're going to watch this one closely as it moves to the northeast across parts of Broken Arrow, mainly in southern Broken Arrow. This one has not really gotten much stronger, but that's the location right here. So here's Warren Theater. This is the Creek Turnpike outer loop. Some darker reds here indicating a little lower magnitude. Green still a little bit on the strong side. We look at reflectivity here. You see this got a lot of rain. We don't have a kind of a notch or anything like that with these. Don't see any indication that we've got a tornado down with it right now, but it's one that definitely bears watching as that moves to the northeast into southern parts of Broken Arrow. It's again kind of right in and along the Creek Turnpike, very close to Warren Theater right now as we watch this move to the northeast. I want to, yeah, that looks like that's going to be in pretty good there. Our original circulation moving up into parts of Rogers County continues just strong enough mid-levels of that storm to prompt the tornado warning continuing until about 9:45. So that's the update of our tornadic storms and our circulations in Tulsa. Let me take you back to reflectivity right now, and we'll do a couple of tracks on these too. Still have heavy rain falling in the Tulsa area, but again, the city of Tulsa all clear from the tornado threat as we watch these storms move in. Now, we will watch closely what's moving in from Creek County too. If there's an additional circulation developing, that might prompt a warning too. But for now, we go back into Rogers County, and that weakening circulation now moving up between Claremore and Inola the way it looks right now. Let me take a little closer look at velocities, and we'll kind of analyze this together. We've seen some strong winds sweep in across parts of Rogers County as well as that continues to move to the east. Okay, yeah, let's look that on the left side of your screen. That is far eastern Broken Arrow right now. We're looking down to the south toward that little bit of a circulation. There may be a slight lowering there right over the middle of the screen. You can actually see those lights on the ground, and then right above it, there's a little bit of a lowering there. Certainly no funnel or anything like that we're seeing right now, but we've got a great vantage point of that as it moves to the northeast. So a little bit of a lowering there. If you're on the south side of Broken Arrow, the southeast part of Broken Arrow, be ready, be watching this one really closely as that circulation slowly moving to the north as it kind of just rolls into the city. Now, I don't see anything too terribly suspicious on Doppler radar about it right now. Let me look at the terminal Doppler, because oftentimes that's going to be so close to the radar. That's going to give us actually a really good view right into this storm. And it actually looks a little bit weaker to me as we watch that. Still evident a bit on the 88D radar too, kind of right over Warren Theater right now. This is a lot weaker. It's a little broader too. So as we watch that, this is the circulation. Phil, that is the circulation we're looking at right there, right? Okay. So again, a little bit of a lowering there, but not a funnel. That's this weak circulation. We're west of Childers Middle School. Now, if we track this circulation up to the northeast, moving up toward Freshman Academy, NSU Broken Arrow too, but again, it's something to watch very closely. There's a little bit of a lowering there, not a whole lot. I haven't seen any power flashes under it or anything like that. So with a rotation this week, we'd probably need this to spin up a little bit stronger to continue to intensify. But we'll continue to watch this very closely. Let's check in with Fox23's Laura Mock too, as she's got her eye on this storm as well.
Yeah, and I've been watching several areas of rotation, first of which the area where we do still have that tornado warning. There is some still broad rotation with that. north of Inola, just to the southeast of Claremore. Broad rotation. It's enough to continue that tornado warning, especially considering what we had happen closer to the airport in Tulsa. Official report of a tornado from the airport there. So as this continues, we're keeping a very close eye on that. We'll come into that. We're also going to take a closer look at that Broken Arrow storm, and I'm also keeping an eye on some rotation a little bit closer to Haskell. So we'll start from the north and work our way south. So as we come in a little bit closer to our Rogers County storm, as we get into that, what we're going to be seeing, it's going to be a little hard to see just because of how close it is to the radar, because when we take a look at the velocities, the wind speeds, it's being shown to us by either going toward the radar or away from the radar. So what we're going to be seeing is a lot of wind coming closer to the radar. And while I'm tracking all of this, I'm also keeping a very close eye on that picture that we're seeing just to the left of your screen watching in on Broken Arrow. We're going to keep a very close eye on that. So as we take a look at the rotation on this, it's actually going to give you a better picture if I put this in motion, because you'll be able to see the spin on things. So as we come through, here's right about where our rotation is. North of Inola, you can see some very strong winds possible with this. General rotation, it's not very tight, it's not very strong, but it is still there, and it continues up to the northeast. We're tracking almost directly along 44 here, this tornado warning in effect until 9:45. So as we stop this, we'll come back to our Broken Arrow storm, which is what we have pictured on the left side of your screen. What we're going to be looking for is that rotation, and it's not very evident on reflectivity or just what it's showing us with the rain. So we do have to come in with the velocity here, and it's going to be a little easier to spot on our high resolution radar. And honestly, the last couple of scans that we've seen, things have weakened a bit, but what we were watching is this coming in from the Warren Theater. So I'll go ahead and switch over to that. As we come in a little bit closer, let's line this up for you. So where we were watching this is coming in from the Warren Theater. We're now into southern parts of Broken Arrow. You can see some reds here and some greens here. General rotation, it's kind of hard to pick out. Looks like things have weakened, but we're still keeping an eye out. We've seen some lowerings on our camera here to the left. We have not seen any funnels from this, but as this continues to the north, we'll eventually be getting to southern portions of the Main Street area, maybe even closer to the Bluebell factory with Broken Arrow Expressway, Highway 51 here, Creek Turnpike. Looks like this is tracking just to the west of the NSU campus. So as for right now, we're not seeing any official reports of any funnels from this. The rotation, not quite as strong as it was just on the south side of the Creek Turnpike. But again, this is going to be one that we watch carefully, especially since we have eyes on it. And that is a fantastic thing to have, is eyes on this storm, because that really gives us confidence in what the radar is showing us. Now, another area of rotation that I've been watching has been closer to Haskell. I'm going to put this on another 30-minute loop just so you can see the general. Looks like it doesn't want to do it. That's all right. But as we take a look at this storm, it's been coming in from just the south side Highway 16 up through Haskell, kind of on the south side of Coweta now. This is generally where we have some rotation in this, and this has been fairly persistent as this storm has progressed, but it hasn't strengthened enough to warrant a tornado warning for this storm. So as we switch over to velocity, it might be a little hard to see, but here's our general area of rotation. There's Haskell right there. In fact, I'm going to zoom it in even closer so we can get a little closer idea of where the rotation is in terms of some of those county streets. So here's our general area of rotation. Here's 72, 64 here. Rotation now just to the northeast of Haskell. Again, no tornado warning on this one, but we still have to watch any areas of rotation today because those quick spin-ups are possible. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom this out one more time, get another overview of the entire situation. We still have our one tornado warning in effect. Tulsa County into Rogers County, even parts of Mays County, but right now I will say the threat of this is more into Rogers County, north of Inola. We have our big line of storms here. Now making their way into the Tulsa area, we've already seen very heavy rainfall. That heavy rain threat continues, and we also have some of these more isolated storms to the south, which are feeding on slightly more unstable air. They've had a hard time getting started so far today, but now it looks like they're starting to get more organized, especially with the boundary a little bit more south. It has some more dynamics to work with, especially with the boundary to the south, these storms coming in, all of this surging up to the north. There's definitely a lot going on and a lot for us to watch. Several areas of rotation right now, but we are watching them all and keeping a very close eye on them. And still looking off on the left side of your screen, still have eyes on that Broken Arrow storm. Definitely some low, scary looking clouds, but no funnels right now. We have seen a little bit of a lowering, just some clouds hanging a bit lower than the rest of it, but still not seeing any defined danger from that storm. It's just something that we're watching for. Still a tornado warning up to the north though, but we're at 9:41 right now. That tornado warning is in effect until 9:45. So we're going to be getting a little bit closer to the end of that. We'll see if it's extended at all. Again, the rotation on that seems to be weakening, but we're still keeping an eye on the storms even to the south of town. Chief Meteorologist James Adalot continues our severe weather team coverage.
Yeah, we continue to deal with a lot of flooding in the metro area from very heavy rain, and we've been trying to spot these little rotations. They're very fleeting, very quick. One still has a valid tornado warning until 9:45. As what's left of that circulation moves just to the southeast of Claremore right now. It's much, much weaker. Other little circulations we've been tracking across parts of Broken Arrow. That one's approaching NSUBA. Again, it is very weak. We have seen, as Laura said, a little lowering. You saw that a few minutes ago on our Fox 23 Skyview Network camera. That's what we're looking at over here. And the lowering is gone right now. There's still just a little bit of sustained rotation in it. You can also see in one more spot as we look in South Tulsa County too, basically to the northeast of Mounds right now. Still a little bit of circulation here, and that's something we're going to be watching closely. We've got a little bit of a push of outbounds in the red, a little bit of green back inbounds here. Again, still very weak with this particular circulation, probably not enough to prompt a tornado warning, but we're going to watch this one closely. This is going to take a path very close to the one Saturday did. Of course, Saturday's did produce that EF0 tornado close to the old White Hawk golf course, but as that moves to the northeast, it's going to be very close to Highway 67, Bixby Memorial Drive. But again, it is very weak. It's just a point that we're watching closely as that moves to the northeast. So to recap, we've got one tornado warning left. That is, even though it's still in effect in Tulsa, and that's why the sirens are still sounding in Tulsa. They're cycling the sirens. And that's part of the siren policy. As long as there's a tornado warning in effect, those tornado sirens will sound in the city of Tulsa. But I've watched the circulation move out of the city right now, so that's the good news. What we are watching, though, is to see perhaps if there may be additional little leading edge spin-up tornadoes that might prompt a quick tornado warning or two. Looking into Osage County, again, we've got about a minute, 10 seconds to go on this tornado warning. Sorry, Osage, I mean Rogers County, not one for Osage County. Osage County, we're just dealing with flooding there. So that's the storm, and as it continues to sweep to the east, we've got some really pretty strong winds with it too, but not quite as big of a threat, of course, as the flooding rains that continue to fall. Pretty much everywhere I-44 and north with a flash flood warning in effect right now. And as we look, we're looking north here. Okay, looking south. Okay. So that's what we're looking at down toward Coweta on our Fox 23 Skyview Network camera right now. So again, we come up with about 30 seconds to go in that tornado warning, and then we're going to resume Fox 23 News at 9 o'clock, which has been nearly all weather. This is what we're looking at from our Fox 23 Skyview Network camera. It's located right here, looking back down toward Coweta. See a couple of scary looking clouds, otherwise no really sustained rotation with this right now. So we'll just continue to, let's go a little bit further south. We'll look at that Coweta storm one more time as we kick into velocity. And again, we got a little bit of rotation in there that's starting to form as well. So looks like, we're going to take a look at that on the terminal Doppler radar just by the location of that Coweta storm right now. And we've got a little bit of rotation with that storm too. Let me kick you back over to high resolution Doppler radar mode. We've officially dropped the tornado warning, but here's the community of Redbird. Here's Stone's Corner right now. This, looking back a little bit further to the west, is Stone Bluff. So we're looking south of Coweta, which is actually right here, right under the banner is Coweta. So we've got a little bit of rotation. This is actually a little bit stronger rotation than we saw just a bit ago. There is a new severe thunderstorm warning that replaces the tornado warning. So Tulsa clear. The tornado warnings have all expired, at least for now. Severe thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-per-hour winds, parts of Muskogee, Okmulgee, Tulsa, Wagner County as well. Look back at velocity and reflectivity. Doesn't look particularly ominous on a reflectivity just to the south of Coweta. As we look back in parts of southern Tulsa County too, got that little tail of this storm kind of hanging down toward Liberty right now, and that's where we've seen a little bit of weak rotation with it. And we're just going to kind of take this, zoom it out just a little bit. We're going to come back over to our storm just to the south of Coweta right now, between Coweta and Haskell, and zoom into that. We'll take a look at velocity. And again, there we've got that little bit of rotation right there. So a little inbound right here, outbound right here. So we do have a little bit of a circulation here just south of Coweta. We bring in Coweta on the map so you can see it a little bit more clearly. But just to the west of the community of Redbird, this is the highway right on down from downtown Coweta right toward Haskell. And we get down Highway 51 over here to the Muskogee Turnpike. That's mile marker 13 on the Muskogee Turnpike. This, moving to the northeast, we're going to watch very closely. So again, got a little bit of a tail in reflectivity. We look right in here, not seeing any evidence that we've got a tornado down with it yet, or that there is one imminent, but this is what we're dealing with. We've got these little spin-ups that just continue to kind of develop across parts of northeast Oklahoma right now, and that is one also just to the south of Coweta. Let me take you back out, and I'm going to kick this view out just a little bit too. That's what we're looking at on our Fox23 Skyview Network camera on the side of your screen. I'm going to do a track on that rotation of the storm. Also, looks like southeast of Haskell. Got a little bit of rotation with that one too. So let's take this northeast, close to 30 miles per hour. Looks like it passes just to the south and east of Coweta, right up across central Washington, central Wagner County right now. Let's do a track on our Haskell storm too as it moves to the northeast. That one could be close to Spring Hill, Redbird, and Porter. So that's one that we're going to watch closely as well. This is what we worried about with this very strong rotation. For now, no tornado warnings are in effect. We're going to try to kick back into Fox 23 News at 9 o'clock, and we're here, so we'll be right back on with another update should any of these circulations get any stronger. We're watching them for you. Clay, Shay, it's been a busy evening.
Yes, a busy evening, and the Fox 23 Severe Weather Team has been bringing us live continuous coverage to try to keep everyone safe with these different storms and spin-ups happening throughout our coverage area.
Started early, they'll continue to go late. As we've mentioned, the many areas, the biggest concern really is tonight for them is the heavy rain so soon after the flooding.
Yeah, we've been showing you the water release that's gone on for the last 2 weeks now from Keystone Dam. Fox 23's Justin Ayer was there earlier tonight and shows us what's being done to try and keep areas from flooding.
Max Chrisman's not worried about the storms. He says it's great fishing weather.
Crazy weather, the fish get wild and crazy, easy to catch usually. We just keep an eye to the sky.
It's what the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers are doing, rain being their biggest concern. They chose to release less water so the flow can travel downstream and not take up the channel capacity.
We have decreased our CFS from 100 to 60,000. Everything's operating as it should.
Keystone Assistant Lake Manager Matt Reeves says it's been a busy couple weeks at the dam. They're fully staffed 24/7, including a few extras. With flooding being their top concern, they warn anyone by Keystone Lake, expect river levels to rise. If you're on a campsite, know the bathrooms double as a safe house.
So we do have campers that are in the park, and we've got rangers that are on staff that they patrol those areas, they listen for those tornado warnings.
And they'll help you find the bathrooms. Reeves says depending on which campsite you're at, the bathrooms could hold upwards of 40 people. Your safest option.
Enjoy the lake while you're here. Just be aware of the weather, be aware of what warnings are out there, and if anything does happen, know that you have a place to go.
Fox 23's Justin Ayer reporting for us. Keystone Lake is still about 21 feet above normal. The dam is releasing at this point 60,000 cubic feet of water per second. That is down from 100,000 recently. Now with this latest rain though, that could likely change.
Now we want to give you a look at the storm system that moved through Pawnee County earlier this evening. This is from the Pawnee, where the city and county were under a tornado warning for about an hour from 5:30 to 6:30 tonight.
Oklahoma Mental Health Association says there is such a thing as storm anxiety. Many of you may be experiencing it right now. With multiple alerts popping up on your phone and TV, it is easy to feel really nervous. Well, they encourage people to simply accept the information, not make it a bigger deal by imagining what if. Association says it is important to pay attention to the warnings, but instead of being afraid, take control of what you can do, act on a safety plan, take shelter.
Well, the Fox 23 severe weather team has been tracking these storms all day long for you. The elevated threat of tornadoes has left many wondering where to go if there's a warning. Some of you have already experienced that. Fox 23's Amanda Hari spoke with the Sand Springs Police Department about where people should go if there is a threat.
I spoke with the Sand Springs Police Department and they told me they don't have a storm shelter and many municipalities don't. That's because they want people staying inside and not hitting the roads to get to a shelter.
Stay out of cars, stay away from underneath bridges, get to a low spot.
Sand Springs police say that's your best bet if a tornado does form.
The weather's what it is. You just try to take the precautions.
Don Adams has lived in Oklahoma for almost 50 years. He says he wouldn't use a city storm shelter.
If it had one, I probably wouldn't go. I just, like I say, I just don't really worry about it.
The best thing to do is stay in the building you're already in and get to a safe room. A basement, storm cellar, or just an interior room on the lowest floor with no windows. Beth Taylor says they're ready for whatever the storm may bring.
We're going to get up here on the porch and watch for it and be ready to hit the basement.
She says their basement is ready, filled with snacks, blankets, a radio, and fully charged phone to find out what's happening with the weather.
And we've got a really good cellar down in the basement of that. So we have two houses over there and everybody's going to hit the cellar.
Taylor took this picture across the street from the Sand Springs Municipal Building. She says she was hoping to see a full tornado.
It just kind of came down for a few minutes and then it went back up. So we thought we were really going to get to see the thing, but maybe later today.
Now, no matter what happens with the weather, police say it's important to stay calm, don't panic, and stay weather aware. In Sand Springs, covering news that matters, Amanda Hari, Fox 23 News.
All right, and take a look at what the Fox 23 severe weather team saw earlier this evening. This is in far southwest Oklahoma. You see that big tornado near the community of Mangum. We're checking on damage in that area, but there was enough debris to close Highway 34 north of town.
Yeah, we know certified meteorologist Michael Sager, I cannot talk now. Certified meteorologist Michael Sager was out there earlier tracking that tornado. So right now, though, let's go ahead and check back in with Chief Meteorologist James Adelot. James, you've been doing all the talking tonight, and I'm the one getting tongue-tied.
That's okay. I've enjoyed the rest. We're still tracking at least some of these fleeting spin-ups right now. A new circulation that we've been watching from close to Mounds, moving up over Bixby right now. Again, it's still very weak, but it is present and it has been sustained. Let's take a close-in view of this one. That's about the strongest storm that we've got in the metro area. It looks like a big leg right here with a boot right on Highway 67 just to the west of Bixby. We checked this out in velocity. And again, we've got some red, some outbounds mixed with that, but it's still pretty weak at low levels. Let me tilt up with high-resolution Doppler radar, and you can see, actually, as we look right into that storm, I'm going to look at reflectivity and come down to the little base tilt here. And it's not quite as strong as it was just a few minutes ago. We may have a little bit of an elevated circulation here across North Bixby. This is pretty close to Bixby North Elementary School. And as this moves to the northeast, could be up close to Spirit Center, St. Francis South, TCC Southeast. Again, this is up in the air. It is not close to the ground at the moment, but with the way these things have gone, we have seen them develop very quick rotations. Now, the National Weather Service just let us know they're going into conference with the Storm Prediction Center. What that means for us is another watch on the way that'll probably carry us to 2, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. Given the strength of the atmosphere, this could very easily be another tornado watch because of these spin-up type tornadoes that we have. Now, as we expand that view a little bit, this is our severe thunderstorm warning. The only one left, and that's severe, at least in Tulsa County, so Broken Arrow, Bixby, all the way down toward Glenpool and Leonard. We've got this severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect, and that's in effect until 10:45. Other severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect basically to the northeast of Tulsa right now. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning in Ottawa, northern Delaware, parts of Craig County, and a large severe thunderstorm warning west of Oklahoma City. Now, the other thing to note, all of these flash flood warnings that are in effect across nearly all of eastern Oklahoma, north of a line from Grove to Oklahoma City. North of that line, even up into southeast Kansas, we've got big flash flood warnings in effect. In fact, the Tulsa flash flood warning is going to remain in effect until 2:45 as we continue to see the rain just pour down. Now, Fox 23 certified meteorologist Brad Carl has been keeping track of some of those extraordinarily high rainfall totals that we've seen. And Brad, they are piling up fast. And really, there's still more rain to come.
Yeah, there still is more. And I was actually just chatting with folks at our news desk about just how much has been stacking on up. And they said they've been talking to the sheriff's office for areas in Osage County and saying that the flooding in Pawhuska in particular is bad. We told you about that probably about half an hour or so ago with some of that significant rainfall on parts of Lynn Lane, I believe Lynn Avenue there, as well as on Main Street. Let me show you just how much rainfall we've seen in some of those spots. And here's the kind of a look at the mesonet. Oklahoma mesonet and Skiatook has been seeing upwards around 4.5 inches there. Have heard a few reports of flooding up there. We're working on getting some of that confirmed as well, and possible actual inhabited structures. Farther to the north in Copan, closer to around 3.5 inches. But really the highest bands of rain that we've been seeing have been in Pawnee and Osage County, which have been seeing upwards of 4 to 5+ inches of rain over the last several hours, sparking flash flooding concerns. And once again, all that water does eventually end up into the Arkansas River Basin, which means that it eventually goes into Keystone Lake and into the Arkansas River flowing past Tulsa. So that will be a concern over the next day or so, as it takes that rainfall some time to kind of work its way through some of the creeks and tributaries on into the main river channel itself. So even though the rain may be cutting off after early tomorrow, we still could be having some flooding impacts ahead, as it just takes time for that floodwater to work into some of those larger channels. That will still be a concern for us going into Tuesday. Couple that also with some very strong gusty winds on Tuesday, and that will make trees much more easily topple on over in some very wet soil conditions. So flooding may end up being the big impact for a lot of folks as we go on into the early morning hours of our Tuesday, and even through the day on Tuesday for us as well. Now, James, we continue to track these storms, which are very efficient rainmakers and are still occasionally kicking up some rotation in spots too.
Yeah, you can see it is a very wet view as we look down on our Fox 23 Skyview Network camera. We're still looking down toward Coweta right now. We've not seen a whole lot in the way of any lowerings out of that one. We can still see a lot of rain, though. Rain just continues to deluge eastern Oklahoma. One smaller rotation right now is still very weak, now moving east of Mingo Road. That's moving up toward Broken Arrow. Does not appear like it's winding up into anything super strong right now. But a new flash flood warning has just been posted as well. As we've talked about, this is going to be a very serious flooding threat. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning now all the way up across Rogers, Wagoner, and Mays County. And there's the new flash flood warning now for Delaware County, the rest of Mays County too. So again, anywhere north of a Tahlequah-Bristow line, you are in a flash flood warning. You just need to stay put if you can. There's a lot of roads closed, high water, and even some high water rescues, and even water in a couple of homes.